Good morning. Go ahead and grab your Bibles and turn to Exodus chapter 23. We're going to do 23 and 24 today. So let's go ahead and get started. Chapter 23. Do not bring a false report. Do not put your hand with the wrong to be a malicious witness. Do not follow a crowd to do evil, nor bear witness in a strife, so as to turn aside after many, to turn aside what is right. And do not favor a poor man in his strife. When you meet your enemy's ox or his donkey going astray, you shall certainly return it to him. When you see the donkey of him who hates you lying under its burden, you shall refrain from leaving it to him. You shall certainly help him. Do not turn aside the right ruling of your poor in his strife. Keep yourself far from a false matter, and do not kill the innocent and the righteous. For I do not declare the wrong right. And do not take a bribe, for a bribe blinds the seeing one and twists the words of the righteous. And do not oppress a sojourner, as you yourselves know the heart of a sojourner, because you were sojourners in the land of Mitzrayim. And for 6 years you are to sow your land, and shall gather its increase. But the 7th year you are to let it rest, and shall leave it. And this here is called a Shemitah year. It's a Sabbath for the land. So anyway, verse 11. But the 7th year you are to let it rest, and shall leave it, and the poor of your people shall eat, and what they leave the beasts of the field eat. Do the same with your vineyard and your olive yard. 6 days you are to do your work, and on the 7th day you rest, in order that your ox and your donkey might rest, and the son of your female servant and the sojourner be refreshed. And in all that I have said to you, take heed, and make no mention of the name of the mighty one, of other mighty ones. Let it not be heard from your mouth. 3 times in the year you are to celebrate a festival to me. Verse 15. Guard the festival of Matzot. 7 days you eat unleavened bread, as I commanded you, at the time appointed in the new moon of Abib. And this here is linked to Passover, for those that don't know, as the festival of Matzot. At the time appointed to you in the new moon of Abib, for in it you came out of Mitzrayim, and did not appear before me empty-handed. Or do not appear before me empty-handed. And the festival of the harvest, the first fruits of your labors, which you have sown in the field, and the festival of ingathering, at the outgoing of the year, when you have gathered in the fruit of your labors from your field. 3 times in the year all your males are to appear before the Master Yahweh. Do not slaughter the blood of my slaughtering with leavened bread. And the fat of my festival shall not remain until morning. Bring the first of first fruits of your land into the house of Yahweh, your Elohim. Do not cook a young goat in its mother's milk. See, I am sending a messenger before you to guard you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Be on guard before him and obey his voice. Do not rebel against him, for he is not going to pardon your transgression, for my name is in him. Verse 22. But if you diligently obey his voice, and shall do all that I speak, then I shall be an enemy to your enemies, and a distresser to those who distress you. For my messenger shall go before you, and shall bring you into the Amorites, and the Hittites, and the Perizzites, and the Canaanites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, and I shall cut them off. Do not bow down to their mighty ones, nor serve them, nor do according to their works, but without fail overthrow them, and without fail break down their pillars, or basically their worship places. Coffee. Because coffee is the most important meal of the day, kids. Verse 25. And you shall serve Yahweh your Elohim, and he shall bless your bread and your water, and I shall remove sickness from your midst. None shall miscarry or be burdened, or be barren in your land. I shall fill the number of your days. I shall send my fear before you, and cause confusion among all the people to whom you come, and make all your enemies turn their backs to you. And turn their backs to you is another way of saying they flee from you. Verse 28. And I shall send hornets before you, which shall drive out the Hivite, and the Canaanite, and the Hittite from before you. I shall not drive them out from before you in 1 year, lest the land become a waste, and the beast of the field become too numerous for you. Little by little I shall drive them out from before you, until you have increased and inherit the land. And I shall set your border from the Sea of Reeds to the Sea of the Philistines, from the wilderness to the river, for I shall give the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and you shall drive them out from before you. Do not make a covenant with them, nor with their mighty ones. Do not let them dwell in your land, lest they make you sin against me when you serve their mighty ones, when it becomes a snare to you. Chapter 24. And to Moshe he said, Come up to Yahweh, you and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel. And you shall bow yourselves from a distance. But Moshe shall draw near to Yahweh by himself, and let them not draw near, nor let the people go up with him. And Moshe came and related to the people all the words of Yahweh and all the right rulings. And all the people answered with one voice and said, All the words which Yahweh has spoken we shall do. And Moshe wrote down all the words of Yahweh, and rose up early in the morning, and built a slaughter place at the foot of the mountain, and the 12 standing columns for the tribes of Israel. And he sent young men of the children of Israel, and they offered ascending offerings and slaughtered slaughterings of peace offerings to Yahweh of bulls. And Moshe took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the slaughter place. And he took the book of the covenant and read it in the hearing of the people. And they said, All that Yahweh has spoken we shall do and obey. And Moshe took the blood and sprinkled it on the people, and said, See the blood of the covenant which Yahweh has made with you concerning all these words. And Moshe went up, also Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel. And they saw the Elohim of Israel, and under his feet, like a paved work of sapphire stone, and like... Sorry, I was going back for a second and making sure I didn't miss something. We'll start verse 10 over again. And they saw the Elohim of Israel, and under his feet like a paved work of sapphire stone, like the heavens for brightness. Yet he did not stretch out his hand against the chiefs of the children of Israel. And they saw Elohim, and they ate and drank. And Yahweh said to Moshe, Come up to me on the mountain, and be there, while I give you the tablets of stone, and the Torah and the command which I have written, to teach them. And Moshe arose with his assistant Yehoshua, or Joshua, and Moshe went up to the mountain of Elohim, and he said to the elders, Wait here for us until we come back to you. And see, Aaron and Hur are with you. Whoever has matters, let them go to them. And Moshe went up into the mountain, and a cloud covered the mountain. And the esteem of Yahweh dwelt on Mount Sinai. And the cloud covered it for 6 days. And on the 7th day he called out to Moshe. He called to Moshe out of the midst of the cloud. And the appearance of the esteem of Yahweh was like a consuming fire on the top of the mountain before the eyes of the children of Israel. And Moshe went into the midst of the cloud, and went up into the mountain. And it came to be that Moshe was on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. And that's the end of chapter 24, and we'll go ahead and stop there for today. Thanks for watching.